So good evening, everyone. My name is Christian Garcia. Today I'm going to be talking to you about online shopping, e-commerce in general, and more specifically, how online shopping will become the dominant method of commerce within the United States retail economy. So a little bit of background on e-commerce as a whole. According to the Census Bureau in 2017, we've seen a 5% rise in US retail market shares of the overall market within e-commerce since 2010. As the industry continues to grow, we can see some debate over whether or not e-commerce will take over brick and mortar stores, those being those with a physical location where retailers can sell to a specific audience within a certain geographical location. As of today, the majority of consumers, as many of you can probably attest to, still shop at big name brand, brick and mortar stores, such as Target, Best Buy, and Walmart. In-store flash sales and mail still lure customers in. However, as you can see after this speech, there are many methods and ways that show that e-commerce and online shopping will eventually overtake brick and mortar shopping as a whole. So the three main points that I'm going to go over today are how e-commerce and online shopping give consumers benefits compared to brick and mortar stores, and also how online shopping and e-commerce increases efficiency and sales for both small businesses and large businesses as a whole. All right, so going back to my first point, how consumers benefit from online methods of commerce. First of all, shoppers who do go shopping online can do their shopping on their own time in any place with a lot more flexibility. This gives people like students, employees that might not have all day to go out and do shopping, the ability to do those things without feeling like they have to go with a certain time schedule or move out of their way in order to do their shopping. In addition, disabled citizens, those who cannot physically go out and do their shopping every day, benefit largely from this type of e-commerce where their groceries and other products are shipped directly to them. In addition, online shopping gives individuals the opportunity to research, develop, and compare different products, whereas in store they might not have those resources. A Pew Research Center study showed that 2/3 of consumers check online sources, reviews, and prices when making decisions on purchases. So moving on to point number 2, how online shopping increases the efficiency and sales for large-scale businesses specifically. Large-scale businesses such as Amazon can work together with third-party sellers in order to increase the amount of products on their site without spending money on physical locations. So a Business Insider article showed that 1/3 of America's largest online retailer, Amazon, made their revenue from third-party sellers, essentially eliminating the need for physical locations. In addition, by taking advantage of shipment centers and fulfillment centers, online retailers can export mass quantities of products to a large group of consumers, rather than having individual stores to spend money on. An Indiana University study showed over a 10-year study, a 50% decrease in shipping costs in Amazon as they improved and expanded their shipping centers worldwide or nationwide. They concluded that this helped attribute to a 5 to 14% increase in profit margin since the year 2006. Moving on to methods of the way commerce can improve methods of sale for small businesses. Online shopping continues to become increasingly common. Per a 2017 eMarketer study, there were nearly 216 online shoppers in 2017. As one could imagine, this is a much larger number than some of the numbers that you might see in a given city. So for example, a mom and pop shop or an up-and-coming retailer can market to millions of people at once rather than the 100,000, 50,000, etc. amount of people that are in their given city. So whether it's a small family business, as I said, or a well-known retailer like H&M, for example, they can reach more individuals and more clientele by selling online rather than in one specific community. In addition, online advertising allows companies to give a more tailored advertisement and ad campaign. They can use specific targeted ad groups in order to reach certain consumers. In fact, a Simon Business School study that followed a popular retailer over the course of 3 years showed a 3.6 increase in sales among a targeted ad group compared to a control group that received no ads. The retailer remained confident that the correlation within the ads online and the increase in sales was positive with the online ads. So, in conclusion, as you can see through these supporting claims, the online commerce industry has continued to grow with the industry that we have now. As people move towards a more on-the-go, innovative lifestyle where time is very necessary and very precious, not only will consumers benefit from the online methods of commerce, but also businesses in increasing their marketing, sales, and tactics essentially as a whole. Thank you.
All right, well, it's nicely presented, and there's statistical information on a number of the points. You provide pretty solid source citations, although sometimes it just comes down to, an Indiana State University study, which is okay for the oral citation, but occasionally something more precise would be helpful. But I didn't have a big problem with that one. The problem that I do have is this doesn't sound like an argument. It sounds like a description of what's going on right now. So it's basically an informative speech. In fact, the secondary claims, the first one especially, is designed particularly for an expository type speech. I'm going to show you how consumers benefit. I'm not going to argue that consumers benefit. I'm going to show you how they benefit. That's an informative speech, not a declarative argument. I think you run into that problem in several places. You're simply describing things that are going on now and saying, aren't they nice? And I don't know that anybody would dispute that they're nice. The question is, what is controversial about this, and what is the inference that you want us to draw? If you are going to argue that brick and mortar stores are going to disappear in 10 years, that would be fine. If you're going to argue that the long-term economic benefit of online retailing will substantially outweigh the costs and drawbacks of traditional forms of retailing, that would be fine. But as it is, you're just showing us some of the things that happen and what the potential advantages and disadvantages might be on those things. It's pretty speculative on that first point. I mean, at one point you're talking about disabled citizens being able to get their groceries delivered to them. On the research issue, I'm not exactly sure why people can't do research when they're in a brick and mortar store also. It seems like if they can check prices, I mean, I've done that plenty of times. I'm in the brick and mortar type store, whether it's Best Buy or Target or someplace, and I look and see if there's a better price someplace else. That happens plenty of times. And what is the difference between these two? It's accessibility and whether or not it meets the needs of the public. You want to argue that it better meets the needs of the public than the traditional stores. That would be an inference also. So I think that you are holding back from making an argument, and you're mostly simply describing current trends that are happening instead of saying that this is going to be an advantage. It's going to produce a substantial improvement. It's that the current way we're doing things is harming us in some way. The closest you get to something like that is the e-commerce that the smaller retailers might be able to benefit from, but that's very hypothetical, and I think that you need to argue some more information on that particular point. All right, I'm trying to keep these shorter so we can get in more speakers.